iBrandTV kind of investment banker, stockbroker, hedge and securities investment is joining me now live via phone to do some analysis of our top business story. Again, welcome to Business Breakfast. Glad to have you join me on the show. Good morning, sir. It's a pleasure having you join me on the program.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be with you.
All right, let's get talking now. I believe you see some of the top stories we are filing from our newsroom at this time. And one of the major stories there we're seeing today is the plan by the federal government to sell out 5 power plants under the National Integrated Power Project at a cost of $1.15 billion. 2 questions I'm going to ask you in one. First, what is your reaction to this? And secondly, do you think that this will have any impact whatsoever on the current state of electricity supply in the country? Your thoughts on this?
Very quickly, yes. It is a way and give this to private sector to run. Get government to involve in the business of generating electricity power have not yielded desired results. The one done by Jonathan failed because they still now the government is determined to give it to the private sector that has the capacity to do it. The one they did before they give to people who do not have the capacity. Now, government is determined to say identify key individuals, private owned enterprise that have the capacity to do this business. Let's give it to them. E.g., why we should go over is the telecoms. The telecom business went to private sector and Nigeria, we know the transformation that happened in the last 22 or 24 years or thereabouts. So it is important that government sit down and get a decision of power. If Nigeria economy will continue to be the way we don't solve our power problem, you see money going out of Nigeria every now and then. Key producers. The key issue is power generation. Is the power issue. We are now the government that is determined to tackle this problem head on. And that is the way to go. It is the best thing we have done. Let's situate people who have capacity to do this. Let government hand it over to them. Let them sell it off. And let's watch our power system transformed. Thank you.
Thank you for your insights. Now, I want to call your attention to the issue of privatization. You rightly made mention of the fact that it's high time that government hand over our power generation to private sector to run it. But let's talk about the issue of privatization. There was a transitioning from government-owned operation of the power sector, the ecosystem now. This year makes it 40 years ago that move was made. And despite the involvement of privatization of the sector, now private players in the sector, we still find out that Nigeria still have epileptic power supply across the country. So what difference will this make if we have another private sector players come into the sector to take ownership of this particular power plants?
Thank you very much. I made a vague reference to the privatization. The privatization that was done earlier is a guided privatization.
Okay.
Guided in the sense that people that were coming forward to buy those governments who have asked them. They were personage of government. They were people, government just came from behind. Those people that are not make power to work, they will call it guided privatization. That's what we call it in the private sector. Okay. There were known persons. Okay. People who want those plans will identify them. Okay. If you go to the internet, you know who are behind them. But what we see elements of sincerity in what we want to do now. Government has identified big capacity. The earlier one, why we call it guided, that capacity was not identified as a condition. People do not have power to do energy. We're giving license to do so because we were friends of government or the government prodigies, people who government we have known. But now, government has that problem has been identified as the key failure where energy has become an issue. People who do not have power to do it, when they do it, we can name them, but I don't want to name names on the air.
Of course.
But they will know they didn't have power to do so. When they came to Nigeria, they have power to do business of telecoms to say, let's do this thing correctly. After all, the telecom operator did work. The power did not that it was a guided privatization. It was guided. It was, the people were coming over alone. And they did not have power. Some of them were even bankers who went into energy issues. And because they have the money to do so, they came through, they came by process. And they did not have any program, no technicality, no capacity, no capability, and they went to power generation. And it is failed. That is why. Now the government are determined to redo it and work it properly. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt.
All right. I like that. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt and then see what they are going to do differently with this current administration. Before we shift focus away from this topic of conversation, now the story now, let's talk briefly about the cost now. The BPE, that's the Bureau of Private Enterprise, is putting out these 5 power plants at a cost of $1.15 billion. And the acting director general of this particular agency is coming out to say that currently the cost will have to exceed $5 billion. What's your reaction to the costing? Do you think the costing is the cost is well pegged, or it should go higher than what we are having it at what it is right now? And do you think that this private sector players who probably be coming into the sector will have the capacity to buy this plant at whatever cost the federal government is pegging it at? What's your thought?
Okay, quickly, I want to think that what we call due diligence was done at the pricing level. Okay. I don't want to believe that the private sector enterprise, the PPP guys who just came and placed the price tag on the copy to be sold. They also don't want to call due diligence in costing activities. You do not cost an asset, or you cost a duty, or cost an enterprise when they due diligence the market value. You don't want to sell below the market value of an asset. That would be a lot of criminality. Yes. They do so. Yes. Everybody wants to think that they have done their homework properly. What we call due diligence in private sector, that they cannot just come and put a price tag on an asset to say they want to sell it for a so amount when they are not do their own work. They work the process to show that the actual value of the asset tag is based on it, and they will just go and give it out at the giveaway price. It will be a criminality against the state of Nigeria. I don't want to do that what they are doing, but we have the people are talking here and there to say no, that price is the asset to work more than that, including myself, but I want to give the benefit of that, as I said. So say that they know the implications of what they are doing. You cannot sell an asset that belongs to our common patrimony and give it away at a giveaway price. No, the corporate cost due diligence must be done before you place a price tag on it. That's what they're saying.
All right then, thank you so much.
They do otherwise.
Yes.
I'm sure whoever has done that, the law of the land will catch up with the person in due course. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that insight. Then let's shift focus now to the next story. We're having this report coming from the International Trade Center, and it's saying that drugs prices are set to go higher in the year 2024, and the reason is due to the depreciation of the naira. Now I'm going to ask you this big question, putting you now on a hot seat. If the price of drugs continue to skyrocket, what then is the cost of the life of an average citizen who cannot afford to get drugs when they are when they fall ill? Well, I saw a report, I think yesterday, if not the day before yesterday, that Nigerians are now shifting focus to the use of herbs and other traditional medicine because they can't afford the exorbitant cost or the rising cost of drugs in the country. Mr. Egbene, how do you react to this, and what do you think will be the ripple effect of this on our healthcare sector at the moment?
Thank you. The dollar chopping that will continue unabated in the 2024 is worrisome. To some of us, it's still watch out in the economy. It's very worrisome because we see that this government has put a lot of this in place to checkmate this. From what they are doing, but that the economy is still highly unproductive. You talk about the medicine and psychology are the ones being produced and shipped to Nigeria because there are a lot of drugs in production in Nigeria. Yes. And Nigeria is the home, and for you to buy it now outside the country, you need dollar. What has made the dollar not stabilize is very fundamental. That Nigeria still rely heavily on things to be brought into this country. There's virtually anything we need to do here. We are still an import-based economy.
Yes, very true.
You run into the issue of exchange, the currency, the exchange rate, and as we present, the dollar will continue to on the increase. What we are asking ourselves domestically, how much of this are we doing locally that will not require to ask for the price of dollars? If you continue to ask for how much is the exchange rate of the dollar, by one of trying to bring this into the country without domestically look at what can be done domestically, we will still continue to run into that issue of dollar jumping today, jumping tomorrow. But my immediate answer, I first started when I saw the report because I also read it that wow. I you say that the dividend of the what government has done so far will not have yielded the desired result in this critical year. That this position when we sat down with some peer economists and we were looking at it, trying to put our hands together and putting goals together to say, are these people actually right? Can this be right? Can this be correct? But then we tell whether what this government has done, we need the desired result. We need the desired result. Because the politician is saying no drugs. You are talking about, we are just microzoning it to hospital. You are just taking it down to the medical profession. It's virtually everything. Anything that has to do with politician, you need to go and look for dollar to buy, to exchange for your naira. And when anytime a commodity is scarce and it's scarce, the price decides to be done. That's what the dollar has done. When too many people are placing demand on a commodity that is short in supply, in simple economic terminology, such an item is said to drop in prices. So what we are saying is that let's keep our fingers crossed to see how the year goes. We are still in January. We think that something good will come. Let's not be pessimistic as that report portrays us to be. Let's be hopeful that something drastic will happen. Because the way the dollar is moving, going to hospital, going to 2,000 per dollar is worrisome. It's really disturbing to we economic watchers. Thank you.
While I share your optimism, let's also face some of the challenges that are facing. Let's also focus on the challenges that are facing us, staring at us in the face. You will agree with me that we have a handful of pharmaceutical companies in the country who are also manufacturing drugs locally, that's in country. But the question here is the number of pharmaceutical companies we have in the country. Do you think that they have the capacity to meet the demands, the drug demands of a population of over 200 million people? What's your thoughts on this?
So that is what we are saying. Those local companies also require some importation of the chemicals they use for manufacturing. They not yes, but if you do it locally, labor is cheaper here, which will reduce the cost of drugs. But by and large, over the years, it is a conclusion that the local manufacturers, the local pharmaceutical companies do not have the capacity to produce enough drugs to satisfy the generality of Nigerian population because of the huge population. Indian has been the major ground.
Yes.
In the last 20 to 25 years, India is the home of pharmaceuticals. Every country in the world goes to take drugs.
True.
That's really the biggest thing. India is the home. If you take any product manufacturer in Nigeria, how do you see one done in Nigeria? Anyone done in Nigeria must be present. Any serious-minded drug, India is the home. People go there to reach, and you cannot build without asking for the dollar. But as for the local whatever, yes, they can take a reasonable percentage. If the cost of production is reduced, what is the cost of production is the energy we talk about. They need to use diesel to power 24 hours for them to engage in production. The price they cannot do much.
All right.
Electricity will become the cheapest energy, is the potential form of power supply in the world. Right. So the area we go there, it will enable the local manufacturers to do more than what they are doing now. So they can take a reasonable percentage share from the market of drugs production. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that. Now, I want to ask you this question before we should focus away from this particular story. In what way do you think the role of the exit of JSK, that's the GlaxoSmithKline, has added or has exacerbated this particular situation? And what should government be doing in this regard?
It's sad if Glasgow are allowed to go. It's one of the biggest in the country. It's one of the biggest, largest pharmaceutical company locally that produce that they are living. It's sad. It's sad. I talked to my doctor over the weekend, and we sat and talked about it. What is sad? If government fully allow them to go. We are saying, we are talking to the private sector, the organized private sector are talking to the new minister now to say, why are we allow key manufacturers in the foreign company that have established in Nigeria over the years? Why are we allowing them to walk away? Is there nothing government can do creatively to stop this movement? Government, other people have existed. I don't like recently that PZ are going to stop production of lumps and other cosmetics locally. If they do it outside the country, we won't be able to buy with soap. These are people that produce almost over the years that they are living Nigeria. So I saw it in the media over the week. I was talking, and they don't talk about. Let's go back to the pharmaceutical. If they allow them to live, they don't hope that government will intervene. Include the military, the organized private sector, understand and meeting during the week. There must be some intervention. Why are we allowed key in the foreign company that have established in Nigeria? They have become a household name in Nigeria over the years.
Yes.
And they are living wonder in droves. When government is fired, and no local production is coming from our local people who just do not even have capacity to produce. Something needs to be done. I think there's something government will generally intervene.
Something definitely needs to be done, and the earlier government take action to stop this multinational company from existing in our country, the earlier the better for not only the country but also for the economy at large. Mr. Igbene, I need to let you go, but before then, I need to get your thoughts very quickly in 30 seconds about the story. The Monetary Policy Committee of the CBN has come out to say that once it achieves its inflation target of 21.4% for the year 2024, it will scale back into monetary policy by reducing interest rates to stimulate the economy. First off, I'm going to ask you this question. Do you see the CBN actually working hard to ensure that inflation rate is being reduced to 21.4% like it's projected? And this because there are projections that inflation rate will skyrocket this year, eating above the threshold of 30%. Now, that's the number one question. The number two question, is it possible? Let's look. You're one person that's always brimming with optimism. Is it possible that Nigeria will ever get to a point where we're going to see inflation rate actually getting to a single digit just that we have in the 90s? And finally, what is your expectation from the MPC as they set to meet for the first time this year under the leadership of Yemi Kadusu in the month of February? Your thoughts on all of this? Hopefully we can do this in 40 seconds. Over to you now.
Okay, let me quickly say this. Let me start from the last one.
Yeah.
Kadoso is holding his first meeting. He is trying to restructure Central Bank of Nigeria because of the preparation, what the mess that was created by the previous administration.
All right.
The man has been working, trying to take some department to Lagos. I think you really prepare to see what he's doing. He's doing a lot of structural adjustments within Central Bank to make it more functional. Let's hope that administratively that will work.
All right.
But we are here to see what he has done as the Central Bank governor to reduce the interest rate. We are not sitting here. We don't want to see the MPC meeting come and go so that we can see what they come up with. For us to be able to put the facts on the table and analyze what is likely to happen. From what that comes over, they are not able to do. So everybody is still waiting for that first MPC report decided over by Padusu to see what he has on the table.
Yes.
That is part on that. Then the
inflation rate.
The other one is when you ask me of
inflation rate.
What is my take on
inflation rate? Inflation rate. Inflation rate. As long as our production locally. In this security, there is that
Nigeria Nigeria is an agric basic things that are done locally. The inflation will divide it by important things and the local one. But for Nigeria, food is a surplus in Nigeria. One of the things that has affected it that government has not tackled is the insecurity. Insecurity. It started on the farm, kidnapping people on the farm. Now they are coming to the city to start kidnapping people working. When they were doing it in the north, they were chasing farmers out of the farm. The farmer retreated. Now they say that nobody come to the farm they don't have anybody to disturb. What they are doing now is they are now picking people working. If you create this fear in the general Nigeria, it creates a so-called structural dysfunction in the economy. It's either the inflation we are talking about. If people don't bring, if they try to bring plantain and other thing from the kilo where they are producing to the city center for me and you to consume, then it's going to spiral into the balance plantain that is important in Nigeria.
Yes.
More cases plantain in foreign, but to eat it in Lagos is a problem.
Exactly, that is the truth. Sadly enough, that it is.
It's insecurity that is the issue. If we solve it, inflation will come down. The area government tackle it for us.
All right, we'll leave it at that. So much to talk about, but time is definitely not our friend. I'd like to say a big thank you to you, Ayegbini Kanabel, investment banker, stockbroker, Hedge Securities and Investment Company Limited. Thank you as always for your time. It's a good start for the year, and hopefully we get to have you more often on the conversation as we dive in macroeconomic issues as they concern us in the country. Thank you so much for your time again. Have yourself a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be with you. I'm always at your service when you call me to do so.
God bless you too. Now let's shift focus now. What's coming up next? Half at this time at the bullish raise seen this year on the Nigerian Exchange Limited continued on Tuesday to close at 98,616.97 basis points, pushing the market benchmark performance indicator close to 100,000 psychological level. Let's get talking after the timeout. Stay with us in Business Breakfast on iBrandTV.